March 26, 2014. It's Hour 2, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Hour 2 of Fire Your MD Now. We're talking to Kate from Utah in a follow-up to yesterday's phone call. Kate, are you still with me?
I am.
Okay, so this is a curious situation, right? Because you have strong and persistent peculiar symptoms. The MD is completely clueless about what's causing it. They thought it was the hole in your heart, but they patched the hole in your heart. You still have the problem, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
right.
So one of the beauties of science-based, clinically verified, holistic medical approach, the holistic medical approach, is that we believe the human body has the ability to optimize its structure and function regardless of the circumstances. And rather than kind of go crazy trying to diagnose strange, rare, and peculiar things, we pay attention to strange, rare, and peculiar things, and we give the body generic, boilerplate, across-the-board, holistic medical nutrition appropriately. Keep our fingers crossed and see how far back the body bounces, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There could be a million things that are causing this, but we're not really overly concerned with confirming a diagnosis 100%. We're concerned with getting a ballpark understanding of which part of the body is in trouble so that we can dial in and optimize a medical nutrition support program, the intention of which is to make a difference in that part of the body. So, right, if it's a stomach problem, we don't want to be giving you a joint program. If it's a heart problem, we don't want to be giving you a big toe program, right? We need to kind of dial in the appropriate thing. Okay. Because, of course, of the seizure activity, the first thing for you to do would be something called the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. So what's your current body weight, Kate?
110.
All right. So here's what I would like you to do, please.
Okay.
I would like you to order one Healthy Brain and Heart Pack.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
All right, let me finish. So one Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules, 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules,
all right,
and 4 bottles of Z Radical. 4 bottles of Z Radical. All right?
Okay.
Now,
I just watched that webinar on Z Radical, and I was wondering if you were going to diagnose that for me.
Well, yeah, I'm going to recommend it for sure. The other thing that you would benefit from here, of course, which from my point of view is mandatory, you have to eliminate the 10 bad foods. And are you familiar with that list?
I am, and I just did that a month ago.
Okay, good girl. So keep riding that train because you're going to need to. That's very important that you stay on that train. And the only other thing that would be prudent here for you to do is the lymphatic optimization breathing technique. And we don't have any written information about that yet, but I'm going to explain it to you right now.
Okay.
Basically, you're going to be taking deep breaths in through your nose and then pushing the breath out through your mouth while you are doing some type of mild exercise, like running in place or bouncing up and down on a treadmill, or even, quite frankly, going for a nice walk around the block. Long, slow, and steady inhalations. It sounds like this. And then an exhalation through the mouth. Inhalation through the nose, exhalation through the mouth. Now, the trick here is at the top of the inhalation, you want the chest to rise. You want the chest to rise, okay? You want the chest to expand and lift up a little bit. This breathing technique stimulates the lymphatic system in the body. The lymphatic system is very important for overall health. It's extremely overlooked. And if you incorporate this lymphatic strengthening, energizing technique into your program twice a day, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, it will go a long way towards rounding out your circulation and helping your body to kind of adjust the stuff that it needs to adjust internally. So the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the Z-Radical, the Selenium, and the Ultimate Daily Capsules. And the people at that 800 number that I gave you yesterday will be able to give you advice about how to take it, how to dose it, and kind of the detaily things around that.
I am familiar. I am a distributor. I signed up 2 months ago, so I'm learning all this. And so I do know how to take those things. And I've always wondered if my breathing, because when I have these spells, I feel like I'm lacking in oxygen. And before I have them, I get yawning a lot, and I feel like there's something that's not circulating correctly, you know. So
yeah. Well, have you ever been to a chiropractor?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So then this is what you need to do.
Actually, not for this symptom, but I've been there just for like back and neck problems and stuff that I have.
Well, then the only thing that could possibly be at play here would be something in your upper cervical bones or the mid back. The chiropractor would have figured that out if they were worth their salt. So I'm going to lean on mineralization of the body, nutrification of the body, and stimulation of the lymphatic system. I think this combination is going to be a 1-2 punch for you. And what you want to do here, Kate, if you haven't already, is you want to write down on a piece of paper any other niddly-piddly daily, weekly symptom that you're bothered by, right? Anything at all. Anything at all that you're bothered by, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Just write it down on the left side of the page. So we can give it a score. 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 10 out of 10 being, shoot me now, it's so bad. Once a week, I want you to check in with that list and give each of those symptoms a score. Because while we're waiting for the big stuff to change, the seizure activity or whatever it is that's happening here, we want to look to see little things improve. Right? Mood, energy, sleep, appetite, whatever. We want to see the little stuff brighten up. And when the little stuff brightens up, that gives us hope to hang on to the program so that we can give the body time enough to hit the comeback trail and make it across the finish line. Remember, healing is a process. It's not an event. But honestly, at 100 pounds, I would think certainly within 90 days, 3 months, of the right stuff, the right program, with the right diet, there should be a noticeable, measurable improvement here, okay?
Well, I can't testify that because I started on the Healthy Body Start Pack and the glucogel caps for minor arthritic conditions. I was starting to feel aching. I'm 58 years old. I started feeling a bit of that and lower back pain I've had for years. Well, in 2 months, I have no more pain. My neck doesn't hurt. My lower back is not swollen and inflamed anymore. And I sleep better than I've ever slept before in my entire life. And I don't have the spells as much at night as I did. So. Well,
I love my job. So the game is afoot, right? As Sherlock Holmes would say, the game is afoot. We just need to dial this in a little bit more here for you. Right. So keep a record of your improvement.
I will.
God bless you. And give me a call back every couple of weeks with a report. I'd look forward to that.
I will. Thank you so much, Dr. Glenn. Appreciate you. I will do this.
All right, Kate. All right. I'll look forward to it. Keep up the good work. All right. We're going to stay in Utah. It seems to be Utah Day. By the way, folks, lines are open today, and we never have lines open here. If you've been waiting to call me and you've been denied before, today is the day to get in. 844-374-5433. That's 844-374-5433. Okay, Sue Ann, you've been very patient. Are you still with me?
I am.
All right. I appreciate your hanging on. That other woman called yesterday at the very end, and I promised her I'd take her call when she came today. So I like to keep my word. So anyway, here we are. So we're at the process of digestion, right? So now stuff's in a liquid form in your stomach, and it squirts into the small intestine, which in the small intestine absorbs the stuff through the villi, the little finger-like projections in the small intestine, of which, by the way, there are billions with a B. Billions. And as the stuff that you've eaten and digested is absorbed by the villi, it passes into the bloodstream. Now, this is like going from the United States to Canada, or the United States to Mexico, or, hopping on a plane and going from the United States to Paris. When you get to the other country, you go through customs, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens in your body. When food or anything passes from the outside of the body to the inside of the body, it meets the body's customs, which is your immune system. So your immune system central headquarters is in a network of blood vessels called the greater and the lesser omentum, which lie on top of and underneath your small intestines. Like the small intestine is pancaked between these two big tissues, which are loaded with blood vessels. So when the stuff that you eat is absorbed by the villi pushes it into the bloodstream, and there it meets the immune system. And the immune system gives whatever has just entered the bloodstream a pass or a fail. It's okay or it's not okay. It's a terrorist or it's friendly, right? If it's unfriendly, the immune system is activated and any number of immune reactions happen and are triggered, all of which cause different symptoms downstream. So, when you are eating all the wrong food all the time because you didn't know any better, because you had a doctor who was just out of touch with reality, what happens is the villi become damaged, the villi become inflamed, and some of the villi become destroyed. So now it's kind of like there are gaps in the border. There are gaps at customs. There are ways to sneak through customs. Ways to sneak across the border. So when you eat food now and your intestinal tract has been damaged, big molecules of food can slip through the holes in the intestinal tract and get into the bloodstream where there should only be little molecules of food. And that capitulates an immune reaction, which I'll tell you all about on the other side of this break. Taking you to school this afternoon, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back, everybody. 844-374-5433. Give me a shout. We're talking to Sue Ann from Utah about the relationship between the intestinal tract and allergies. Okay. So, when the villi, which there are billions of in your small intestine, have been damaged by eating all the wrong food for all your life, you get little tiny microscopic holes in the intestinal tract, and this is referred to as a leaky gut. Then when you eat food, and it digests normally, and it enters the small intestine, it enters into the bloodstream, not through the villi, but through the tiny holes in the intestinal tract. And this causes a lot of trouble, because when anything enters into the bloodstream through the intestinal tract, it meets the immune system. Now, when you have a big molecule of food which slips through the intestinal tract, where before it couldn't, because if the villi were strong and healthy, the villi would only let molecules of food that were certain sizes through. But now it's like there's a hole in the fence and anybody can get through who wants. So now you've got a big molecule of, let's say, a chicken egg in your bloodstream, where you should only have a tiny molecule of chicken egg in the bloodstream. The immune system recognizes that as an invader, and it mounts an immune response and tries to kill it. One of the things that it does is it builds antibodies against it in the future, but the antibodies are signaled based on the molecular kind of smell of the chicken protein, the chicken egg protein, not the size. So the next time you eat an egg, even if it's properly digested and absorbed through the villi, the immune system will attack it because it has the same molecular smell, so to speak, as the big molecule did. And this is how food allergies are generated. The same thing happens with seasonal allergies. It's because when the leaky gut situation is present, every time you eat, your immune system becomes activated. And activated, and activated, and activated, and activated, and activated, and activated. Now you have a hyperactivated immune system. And when you have a hyperactivated immune system, there are lots of cells in your blood called basophils, mast cells, rather, which carry histamine. And when mast cells, when you have lots and lots and lots of mast cells in the body, they release histamine at the drop of a hat. It's kind of like the leaky gut has made your immune system hyperactive. It's like a hair trigger. You've got tons of histamine in your blood now, and so when you experience you breathe in some pine pollen, or you breathe in some goldenrod, or you breathe in some cat dander, normally it would just trigger the immune system a little bit. But you wouldn't even recognize it, really. But because there's massive amounts of histamine-bearing cells in your blood now, you get this giant cascade effect. And that's what causes allergies. All allergies are traced back in a fashion to the small intestine. It doesn't seem like it makes sense, but that's because nobody is taught in school, and everybody should be, that immune system central headquarters is the blood vessel supply immediately around your intestinal tract. And did any of that make sense, Sue Ann? Did I kind of line that up for you correctly? A little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, all right. So the take-home message here is, if you have a damaged intestine, if you're eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, wheat, barley, rye, and oats will damage your intestinal tract. A damaged intestinal tract leads to a hyperstimulated immune system. A hyperstimulated immune system leads to easy reactions to stuff in the environment that you normally wouldn't react to. I don't know if it's kind of like if you're in a dark room for a long time, and then all of a sudden somebody opens the window. It's like you can't handle the light right away, right? It takes a while for your eyes to adjust to it. And then, oh my God, it's too bright. You got to cover your eyes with your hands. Well, your immune system is like that all the time when you're eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, because it's hyperactivated all of the time. And even the smallest stimuli from the outside, like normal light, in the case of the person in the dark room, triggers an allergic reaction. So what we see, what we experience clinically all the time is when we put people on a clean diet, they stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and they take nutritional supplements which support their body's health. Their immune reactions get less and less and less and less, and then they disappear completely. And that's a beautiful thing. Thanks for the call, and thanks for the patience, Sue Ann. I hope that made some sense. Ashley James is up next, folks. She's live in Calgary, in the province of Alberta, rather, and she's going to tell us all about Dr. Wallach's schedule coming up. Money for nothing. I don't want money for nothing. I'd rather work for my money, but I don't want to work hard. I'd want to work smart. My father, who was a lawyer, small-town lawyer, a really great guy, God rest his soul, always told me, Peter, he said, Peter, you can work with your hands or you can work with your head. And as you get older, it's easier if you work with your head. And you know what? He's right. Absolutely right. I did a lot of construction. I did commercial fishing. I did a lot of odd jobs in my youth. And honestly, I can't imagine what that would be like in my 50s. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So it's better to work with your head, right? Better to work with your head. And if you can combine working with your head and working with your heart, well, that's a home run, and that's exactly what we do in Longevity Nation worldwide. What do? We stand up for the health and the wealth of the oppressed. We stand up for the health and the wealth of people who don't know any better. We stand up for the health and the wealth of the sick and the suffering and the poor. Quite frankly, I'll stand up for the health and the wealth of the rich, because the rich ain't going to be able to enjoy their hard-earned wealth, when they're taking 16 prescription medications a day and they're on dialysis 3 times a week. Oh, yeah, that's just a ton of fun. Oh, Dr. Glidden, I've got 2 fake hips and I'm on 5 prescription medicines. You know what? But I'm pretty healthy. Well, no, you're not. You are the exact opposite of healthy. You're a train wreck waiting to happen. So I don't care what your religious persuasion is. I don't care what your political persuasion is. I don't care whether you're rich or you're poor. The only thing I care about is whether your mind is open or not. Because I can't work with you if your mind is closed. But if your mind is open, I can work with you. And the way that we do this here is we build a giant network. We build a network, a grassroots coalition of the informed people all around the world who've taken it upon themselves, the mission of helping people see the light of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. And nobody does that better than Ashley James and her husband Duffy, and they are up in Edmonton, I believe, right now in the great province of Alberta, dialing in a lecture tour with Dr. Wallach, and let's pot Ashley up right now. Hey, Ashley, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Dr. Glidden, it is always a pleasure to speak with you. I have to say that we are so excited. We're going to be picking up Dr. Wallach later today at the airport, and we're going to have 4 amazing health events here. Team Glidden Canada is rocking it here. I'd love to just touch on a few points you brought up because it's so important. I think that people who are already in longevity, they get it. They've got their health back. Literally everyone that gets on the 90 essential nutrients feels so amazing, sees such amazing health results that they just naturally want to share longevity. So a lot of people join don't really have the intention of building the business, but they turn around and 3 months later, they've got a few of their friends and family signed up. They're getting their health back. 6 months later, they've got 12 or 20 or 30 people signed up, and it just grows and grows and grows. There's the type of people that come in and accidentally become business builders. That was me. I was so sick. I got my health back. I started sharing longevity. One thing led to another, and we're just 100% on board with the business. Then there are some people who really want to build the business, but they don't know how. And I hear that all the time. People ask me, well, how do you do it? How do you do it? And the thing is that if you use your head and you use your heart and you have a big heart and you want to help others, then you're already way ahead of the game. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to work like physical labor, like have to work hard, but you have to be willing to get out there and put yourself out there. And what I love is that there are tools that people can lean on, and I leaned on your tools, your webinars, and your DVDs now are my biggest business building tools. So anytime I have someone who has a health problem, I lend them a DVD or I share with them one of your webinars that pertains to their health condition. And 45 minutes of listening to you, they definitely want to get on board. And so it's been the easiest way for me to build my business. Another great way, obviously, has been utilizing these events. And I mean, but it's icing on the cake, not the cake itself. The cake itself is sharing your webinars with people and sharing your DVDs. But what we're doing today with Dr. Wallach is so exciting. We're going to be having an event tomorrow. And that's going to be it's going to be Thursday, March 27th at the Gold Room in the Fantasyland Hotel of the West Edmonton Mall. Friday, we're going to be having a fantastic event in Sherwood Park, which is like a sort of a suburb of Edmonton. And then Saturday, we're going to have just a killer event in Camrose. We have a lot of really excited people already registered. And people can go to teamglidden.ca for all that information. So it's just teamglidden.ca. And obviously, everyone's welcome. Tell your friends and family. Everyone in Team Glidden obviously needs to be there and needs to be telling their friends and family. But we're just going to have a fantastic time. I love your lectures. You're probably the most favorite person for me to listen to, but Dr. Wallach is a close second because the amount of knowledge he has is just unbelievable. So we're just really excited. And so if anyone's listening right now who's interested in sharing this message, and you're in the Alberta area, we even have people in Fort McMurray driving down, like just hours and hours away. So if you're somewhere near Alberta, you've got to come to these events.
Gotta love it. And this speaks to a couple of points which are interesting to mention here. You know, I mean, we need simple instructions to go through life. I mean, even you look on your shampoo bottle, right? You turn it around on the back, it says instructions. Lather, rinse, repeat. Well, son of a gun. Well, I can do that. Lather, rinse, repeat. That's easy. Oftentimes people get, they'll look at longevity, they'll take the products themselves, and then they'll get to feeling better, and they'll consider doing the business. But they incorrectly think, well, son of a gun, I don't know anything about vitamins. I don't know anything about medicine. I don't know anything about pathophysiology. I don't know anything about anatomy. How is it possible for me, as just a lay person, ditch digger, to be able to help people with their health? Well, you just need to follow the simple system. Lather, rinse, repeat. You don't even have to know how to spell vitamin to be a successful longevity distributor. All you have to be able to do is point. Oh, you're suffering with this and this health condition? Well, guess what? There's a world-famous physician who practices an alternative form of medicine. He has a book in the Smithsonian Institution. He's giving a free health lecture this weekend. I'd love it if you could show up. I'll drive you to it. Can you do that? Yeah, you can do that. That's fun, and that's easy. So Dr. Wallach comes to town. You point people in his direction. You wave the flag. Hey, stand up on the hill. Dr. Wallach's coming to town. You don't want to miss this lecture, and you really don't, folks. You really don't want to miss Dr. Wallach's lecture. I've seen lectures given by Dr. Wallach, 45-minute presentations, which brought me to tears. They were the most elegantly sophisticated, simple, spot-on dissertations on why we're so unbelievably sick all around the world and simple solutions to get out of it. All inside of 45 minutes. My head exploded. Dr. Wallach is the man. So is Dr. Wallach everywhere all the time? No, he's not. So if you're a longevity distributor, when Dr. Wallach comes to town, you invite people to the event. And then Dr. Wallach leaves, you still got to have boots on the ground activity, so what do? You find somebody who's struggling with a health issue. Who's struggling with a health issue? Everybody is struggling with a health issue. So you find somebody who's up against it, and you say, hey, you know what? I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I lend you this DVD, will you watch it? If I invite you to one of this doctor's live health webinars, will you attend it? If I send you a link to one of his recorded health webinars, will you watch it? That's all you have to do. Just point. That's all you need to do to be a successful longevity distributor. You have to learn the compensation plan. That's easy. If you can figure out how to pass the driver's license test, you can learn the nuts and bolts of longevity. It's not hard. There is a little bit of a learning curve here, but we hold your hand and we help you to learn that. This is a beautiful thing. And then all you need to do for the rest of time is point and follow up. What'd you think about that? Would you like to try the stuff? You would? That's great. Here, let me place an order for you. That's all that you do, all of the time. And like the parable said, the sower had good seed, but some fell on rocky ground. Some the birds got. Those people you invited to Dr. Wallach's lecture and they didn't show up, well, the birds got them, right? Some started to grow, but the weeds got them. So some people started to think positively about it, and then they watched Dr. Oz say something stupid about vitamins, and they bailed out. Well, leave the dead to bury the dead. But some people get it. About 25%, nobody really knows the number, but if you can secure 25% of the people you show longevity to, you're doing a very, very good job. Nobody does this better than Ashley and Duffy. And quite frankly, everybody in Team Glidden, especially the longevity members in the great province of Alberta, are really stepping up to the plate here and showing everybody in their communities what we are up to. And Team Glidden in Canada, Longevity Nation in the great province of Alberta, is growing like a weed. It's very exciting what's going on there, Ashley, but, all of this pales in comparison to the biggest question before the board. Is there still snow on the ground?
Oh, my gosh, it was snowing today. It snowed a few inches today. It's not going to stop snowing here. I don't think Canada knows what summer is. I've given up all hope.
Well, the Canadians are used to it. They love it. They thrive in it. And, I've been in that part of the world in January and have had people drive 3 hours to the lecture through the snow. Mm-hmm. So, it's not a problem really. And I have to be honest with you, I've lectured all around the world for longevity over the last 4.5 years. And what I find interesting is that the people in Alberta generally speaking, compared to everybody else that I've lectured for, are down-to-earth, pragmatic, and practical. And they can tell when somebody's giving them a line of crap. They can tell when somebody's BSing them, and they can tell when somebody's telling them the truth. And if you can look an Albertan in the eye and tell them the truth, and they get that you're telling them the truth, they're going to give it a try, because that's the kind of people that they are. And that's the kind of people I love working with in longevity. People who are open-minded, pragmatic, down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth types who can call BS when they see it, and who have the courage, the open-mindedness, and the determination to take action on their own behalf. I'm very excited for you guys. This is going to be a fantastic event. So roll out the locations for us again. Tomorrow night you are where?
We're going to be in the Gold Room at the Fantasyland Hotel at the West Edmonton Mall, the North America's largest mall, and plenty of parking there. And then the next evening, Friday, we're going to be in Sherwood Park, and then Saturday we're going to be in Camrose. And all that event information is on teamglidden.ca.
Teamglidden.ca. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Teamglidden.ca. Well, Ashley James and everybody else that's up there, Mike Phillip, everybody else, Corey Prop, everybody else that's stepped up to the plate in the great province of Alberta, have a fantastic time with Dr. Wallach. It's up to you to change the world. If anybody can do it, you can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Longevity Nation. Don't even think about touching that dial. Hey, everybody. Finishing it out here on Wednesday, the 26th day of March, 2014. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your host. Thanks for sticking with me for the last couple of hours. Let's finish it up in Los Angeles with Marjorie. Hey, Marjorie. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on, Marjorie?
Hi. I'd like to know how to get rid of radiation.
You can't. I'm not aware of. There are different things that I've heard about. The only study that I'm aware of that was of any moment here was a study that they did with laboratory mice. And they took, I think, about 100 or 200 laboratory mice, and half of them they gave vitamin E supplements to. Half of them they didn't. They all got the same diet, but half of them got vitamin E, the other half didn't, and they exposed them all to the same amount of radiation. The group that had the vitamin E in their body while they were being irradiated had statistically significant less negative reactions to the radiation than the control group did. So, but that's during the radiation exposure event. What you can do after the fact, God only knows. What we recommend, of course, is optimize the body's structure and function all the time. Optimize the body's structure and function all of the time. Give the body the 90 essential nutrients and selenium, extra selenium appropriate for body weight. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and shoot for, around 50,000 ORAC a day of antioxidants. Notwithstanding that, I'm unaware of any therapeutic that's able to give you any type of a purchase here. There probably is something, but I'm just simply not aware of it, which is, more's the pity, right?
So
all right, Marjorie. All right, good. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Hey, guess what? Terry from Manhattan, Illinois is up next. Terry, thanks so much for the call. You are live.
Hello, Doctor. Dan's Gibbons' brother.
Yay, thanks for the phone call. I was waiting for you to give me a shout today. We only have 3 minutes left, though, in today's show, so if I don't get to you today, if you could be kind enough to call in tomorrow, I'll take you first off. So what seems to be the problem?
Well, my cardiologist put me on a metoprolol ER with statins, and I'm hearing all these bad things about statins.
Well, it's not so much that, it's not the gun, it's how it's used. It's not the drug, it's how it's used, right? I mean, statins are fine under certain circumstances, but there's no relationship between high cholesterol and heart disease. It doesn't exist. There's no relationship between high cholesterol and heart disease. You've been duped by, 100 years of pharmaceutical profiteering. And metoprolol, of course, is a blood pressure medication. Do you have high blood pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, from our point of view, the main cause of high blood pressure is not the fact that you have a heart. It's not the fact that you're, over 50 years of age. It's not the fact that you have a cardiovascular system. And it doesn't have anything to do with the stress of your life. The major reason that people's blood pressure increases is because they have developed deficiencies in the minerals calcium and magnesium. If you don't have enough calcium and magnesium in your body, your blood pressure spikes. And, metoprolol is going to manage the blood pressure, but it's not going to fix it. And remember, all things being equal, we need to take the right dog to the hunt. Your medical doctor might be the nicest person in the world, might have a very high IQ, but they don't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in is not how to fix the blood pressure, not what causes the blood pressure, interestingly enough, but only how to manage the blood pressure. I mean, for goodness sake, these guys, they don't even know how to cure heartburn, right? They can manage it with the little purple pill. So our recommendation is give the cardiovascular system the stuff that it needs to fix itself. Stop eating food that's gumming up the works. Get out of the way. And see what happens. And we give it 90 days. So our recommendation, clean up your diet, take the appropriate nutritional supplements for 90 days, 90 days, and look to see what happens. Go to CVS, get a blood pressure cuff, man. Start measuring your blood pressure and check it out. Now, can you call me back tomorrow, Terry? Do you have the free time?
Yes, what time?
All right, 3:06 Central Time. Any time between 3 and 3:30 tomorrow. Central Time. I'll dial this in for you with a little more detail, and I will look forward to it. Thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it. Word of mouth beats just about anything else, ladies and gentlemen. Who are you talking to about longevity? I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Back in the saddle tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. Until then, live long and prosper.